Sponsored by The Great Courses Plus. Get a free 1-month trial to stream thousands of video lectures at thegreatcoursesplus.com/cow. It's a great resource for homeschoolers, so stick around to the end of the video for more details.
Blimey Cow presents You Might Be a Homeschooler If 8. We're really doing it. You might be a homeschooler if your mother is an official seller of some nutrition product just so that she can buy said product wholesale.
You might be a homeschooler if you gotta wait for your dad to come home from work before you can do math.
You might be a homeschooler if you have at least one pet named after a character from Narnia.
You might be a homeschooler if there hasn't been a time in the last 15 years where at least one of your kids in your family wasn't in your church's youth group.
You might be a homeschooler if you always forget to write your name on your college assignments because you're used to being the only kid in your class.
If you started your first business when you were 10.
If you learn about a hilarious new meme a week too late.
If you've just given up trying to explain to people what the heck a co-op is. It's like you go to your classes, you get your assignments, you hang out with your friends, there's like 3 proms, and then you leave. Then you might be a homeschooler.
You might be a homeschooler if you've ever had a debate about which Mr. Whitaker was the best.
You might be a homeschooler if you never believed in Santa Claus. In fact, you were the kid who made fun of kids who believed in Santa Claus.
You might be a homeschooler if you have your own Minecraft server.
You might be a homeschooler if you do your homework while your mom watches her morning talk shows and drinks her coffee.
You might be a homeschooler if growing up there was stuff you weren't allowed to watch, and then there was stuff that you weren't allowed to watch. So, for example, you weren't under any circumstances allowed to watch Harry Potter, but if, like, you were at your cousin's house and he was watching Power Rangers, your mom just kind of like, let it go.
If your mom has a side hustle where she's got a homeschool blog for moms.
If you've ever graded your own assignments.
If having a schoolroom is a requirement to any house your family is considering buying, you might be a homeschooler.
You might be a homeschooler if you sometimes get tired of telling people you're homeschooled, so you came up with the name for your school. Like, say you live on Cherry Tree Lane, you might tell people that you attend Cherry Tree Academy, and then you gotta watch as they pretend they know what you're talking about.
You might be a homeschooler if you've ever been asked this question.
So, did you find the transition from homeschool to college difficult? I don't mean that to be offensive or anything. I'm just wondering because it seems like it would be incredibly difficult.
You might be a homeschooler if you ever memorized an entire book of the Bible, but like, one of the shorter ones. I'm not weird or anything. You might be a homeschooler if you brag to your friends that you only watch old movies. But really, they're the only movies you're allowed to watch. But that's because they're the only ones worth watching.
You might be a homeschooler if your mom trades school books with your friend's mom on a monthly basis.
If you caught the Mary Poppins reference in this video.
If you don't normally like rap music, but you love Lecrae.
If the only comedian you're allowed to watch is Tim Hawkins, you might be a homeschooler.
You might be a homeschooler if you actually considered spending over $1,000 to go on the DC Talk cruise.
You might be a homeschooler if your family doesn't have to mow the backyard because you own goats.
You might be a homeschooler if you weren't allowed to get a Facebook until you turned 16, but then when you turned 16, you didn't even want a Facebook anymore, you wanted Snapchat, but the problem is, you don't have a smartphone. So.
You might be a homeschooler if growing up, the only R-rated movies you were allowed to watch were historical war movies because they were an accurate depiction of the realities of war.
You might be a homeschooler if you've ever wondered just how long it would take to watch every single episode of Messy Mondays back to back. The answer is 20 plus. 20 plus hours!
If you're really conflicted about the new Anne of Green Gables series on PBS.
If you still can't believe Andy Griffith was such a vocal supporter of Obamacare. If you know that at the end of Fireproof, Kirk Cameron is actually kissing his wife. It wasn't adultery. They flew her in just for that scene. That's why you can't see her face. It was cinematography. You might be a homeschooler. Guys, if you're like me, you love to learn. And I've discovered a really cool and easy way to do just that. It's called the Great Courses Plus. They have a library of over 7,000 video lectures, and you can stream as many as you want from your TV, laptop, tablet, or phone. The courses they offer are really interesting and unique, and the ones we've checked out so far already have us hooked. We've enjoyed learning to cook with Bill Brewa from the Culinary Institute of America. We've enjoyed learning how the stock market works with Raymond DeZanero. And we've enjoyed learning the mathematics of games and puzzles with with Arthur Benjamin. All the professors are fantastic. They have courses on photography, stage presence, foreign languages, you name it. And they add new lectures every single month. The best part is that it's free to give the Great Courses Plus a try. Go to thegreatcoursesplus.com/cow because there you're gonna get a free 1-month trial to check it out for yourself. So click the link in the description to get your free trial of the Great Courses Plus today.
You might be a homeschooler if when Donald J. Trump said that he wasn't going to get a special prosecutor for Hillary Clinton. I knew it.